Welcome to Art Talk Tuesdays, episode 2. I want to start by saying all of you who gave me positive comments and such good feedback on episode 1 last week, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So having said that, we're going to jump right in. Our piece for this week is entitled Meditatio. Meditatio is Latin for meditation, and the inspiration for this piece lies within my meditation practice. It actually came to me during the midst of my meditation practice. I was deep in meditation, and I began to get this feeling, this sense of a presence kind of enveloping me and wrapping around me. And then I began to feel lots of energy moving in and out. And so that was what inspired this piece. Since all change works from the inner to the outer, we're going to start with the inner part of the image here and work our way to the outside. So we see the central figure here is a little boy, a child. He's in what is considered a yogic meditation pose. I often sit in this pose myself sometimes when I'm meditating. And I chose to use a child on purpose because in the sense of the divine, from the spiritual perspective, we are the children of God, the children of spirit. And so I wanted to depict that symbolically through the image of the child. Here we have the Chinese character for yin and yang, right? And so yin and yang represents the opposing forces of the universe. And actually they're not opposing, but they're interconnected forces. We could really look at yin and yang as opposite ends of a continuum that kind of merge together. And so that spiritual energy is being depicted here. Notice I've also placed it at what would be the root chakra of the figure, so that this life energy is moving up and through the figure. Down through the root chakra will be up, going up to the top chakra, to the crown chakra. This figure behind here is actually could be a spiritual being, an angel, a guide. It could be representative of the praying figure's higher self. And you see this figure is here behind, providing support, also in a prayerful meditative state, communing, if you will. The two could actually be seen as communing together as one. And then the hands of this figure are also in what is called the Mudra for devotion at the heart. Well, they're a little bit higher than the heart here, but the Mudra for devotion. So this figure is in meditation and prayer, and engaged in that. With this figure is the figure behind, the angelic force, the higher self, however you want to interpret that. The green and the blue here, once again, mimicking this idea of the yin and yang. And I wanted the green and blue to represent the physical forces of the physical world, depicted here through land and sea, right? And so we have that interchange here because this is all about the physical realm. This white band around the outside represents the veil, if we will. We talk about the veil that separates the spiritual from the physical, that thin veil between the worlds. And so that's what this white line is. Often people talk about, who see auras, talk about when they see an aura, that when they're first beginning to see it, they just see the white light around the person. And then as they begin to see further, they begin to see distinctive bands of color and other things. So kind of symbolic of that energy here. This on the outside represents the spiritual forces of yin and yang, and I chose bright colors for that on purpose because when we think about these higher energies, we're talking about power and energy and light and movement. So I wanted that to be depicted in this movement here. You see everything is moving. It mimics this because this is spiritual power here, and then we have spiritual power again on the outside here, swirling around, these swirling energies of spirit, which move down into, if you notice this line, moves down into the physical line here, and this moves back out into this line. So we have this exchange, this macrocosm, if you will, of energy being exchanged between the non-physical and the physical, moving in and out. And I wanted to depict that in this image. Here we have these two stars here, basically representing this higher star, representing basically the divine mind or divine spirit. If you want to talk about, if you look at any, listen to any Abraham Hicks talk about the whole idea of source. So this is the mind of source. Within that is the symbol for the Om, which we know is the meditational frequency of the universe. And then here down at the bottom, representing wisdom. If we look at the Bible, we talk about Sophia, the idea in Greek of Sophia as the wisdom tradition, and that everything was created through the divine mind using wisdom and creativity. So putting these two ideas together. And here, once again, we have the yellow here at the top and the orange here. So everything is interconnected once again. Everything is interrelated, as everything in life and the world truly is. And so depicting that here, this image is what we call a mixed media image, which means that it's primarily watercolor, but I also have some other mediums in here. So anytime you use more than one medium, it's considered mixed media. So here I have some color pencil and some pastel. then watercolor and pen and ink, and then some pen and ink out here. So I've got a lot going on in terms of the medium, but that's basically the gist on this piece. It is valued at $1,200. You see matted and framed, ready to go. I have prints available of this image also on my website. They range from $27 to $250, depending on how much you want to spend. Once again, those come also matted and framed if you choose to buy them matted and framed and shipped directly to you. So I want to thank you for taking your time to be with me today, and I will see you next week. Peace.